Hello, everybody. I think we're somehow late, so I will try to do it as quickly as I can. The presentation is going to be in Korean on the screen, but I'm going to speak in English. I'm going to give you a brief about the investment climate in Egypt and opportunities in Egypt for investing. We had a revolution in January 2011. It changed lots of things in Egypt, politically especially, and in the field of democracy, and we got the first elected president in 2012, and we got the first parliament. We wrote a new constitution this year, and it has been approved by the people in referendum 2 months ago. And coming months, we are preparing for the coming parliament or the new parliament for the election. So we are working hardly on the democracy process in Egypt in the last 2 years. And we are trying to match between our history and our current situation nowadays with the revolution. This is just brief about some indicators in Egypt for, was it written in Korean? About the GDP growth and in 2009 and 10 and 2010, 2011, and our reserve from foreign currencies and the foreign direct investment to Egypt, and the unemployment rate, Egyptian exports and Egyptian imports, our trade balance, and we are looking, this is the new Egypt we are talking about the political our political situation lately and the parliament elections. This is the first one, and after that we got the referendum for the constitution, and we are working on a new parliament election coming months. Nowadays, our new government headed by Dr. Hisham Kandil, the prime minister, is working hardly to set all the problems in Egypt, to give a big move to the economy, to big move to the foreign direct investment, to set new laws to enhance investors from abroad to come to Egypt to join the Egyptian market, to invest in Egypt, to benefit from Egypt as location, as manpower, as its place in between Africa and the Middle East and its connections. Why we invest in Egypt? We had a growth rate of 7% in 2010, 2005, till 2008, and in the first half of 2010, 2011, we had the growth rate of 5.5%. We have a large population and large market. We have around over 80 million nowadays, and we have the market of the countries around us and the African countries, because all the African countries are mostly connected to each other these days through trade agreements like COMESA, for example. And we have around 26 million of manpower in Egypt. And we have another benefit. This is the low cost of doing business in Egypt. We have a tax rate, flat tax rate, it's 20%. We have 15 commercial ports. We have lots of airports, expanding airports network in Egypt for cargo and for passengers. And we have a competitive price for power and gas and electricity. And in the last few years, the Egyptian government did lots of progress and lots of efforts to facilitate doing business in Egypt, especially for the foreign companies and foreign people who want to join the Egyptian market as investors. This is brief about it. You can establish your company in around 3 days, 72 hours. So you can check it. We have a flat tax rate. This is a 20% flat tax rate. So as we want to go briefly, because we have to finish at 3:30. And this is this is our global market access. We have access to around 1.5 billion customers through lots of agreements, like the EU partnership between Egypt and the EU market. We can access the US market through the QIZ qualified industrial zones. We can access the Middle East and Arab countries through GAFTA, which is Great Arab Free Trade Area. Africa, we can access African countries through COMESA. We have a free trade agreement with Turkey. We have a free trade agreement with EFTA countries. And we have the Suez Canal, which connects the north and the south, which connects the Mediterranean, which connects the Indian Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea, which connect Asia to Europe. And it can be an important base, industrial base. And this is the investment policy framework and the comparison between many kind of investment. You can invest what we call it inland investment or investment zones or special economic zones. And you can compare between the income tax in each one and the import duties, export duties and sales tax, the payroll tax and the export minimum and other incentives through this table. And this is a brief about big investors who joined the Egyptian market in the last 2 years. For example, we have GlaxoSmith, we have Al Futtaim Group, it's well known in the Arab countries. We have Electrolux, we have Turkish company called it KCG, Indonesian company Multistrada, yeah. And we have Toyota start assembling in Egypt, new 4x4 car, and we have two Hyundai which assemble in Egypt. And as all my colleagues mentioned, that the Korean cars has a big market share in all the world nowadays, and has the biggest market share in Egypt. The first three brands in Egypt are GM Korea, Chevrolet, Kia, and Hyundai. They are selling around 50% of the market share. And Samsung, lately, I'm not going to talk about the others, the second page, but this year in last August, Samsung signed with the Egyptian government an agreement to establish its first factory in the Middle East and Africa. It will be in Egypt, in South Egypt. That means they took this decision after lots of studies, after 2 years of comparing with some other countries, and they took this decision. That means Egypt has big potential. And another Korean companies, I'm not going to mention the name because they didn't announce it yet, they are going to expand their work in Egypt, and they are going to build a new factory too. The Egyptian government has 2 mega projects. This is East Port Said Port, which is the north entrance of the Suez Canal. We have a big port there, and we have what we call it mega projects in Egypt. We have East Port Said Port. We want it to be one of the biggest port of transit in the world. We have an industrial zone. We are looking for an area for agriculture investment. We are looking to have there some shipyards, giving maintenance for big ships passing by the Suez Canal and all the service. And this is the plan for the place. And this is another mega project, what we call it, Special Economic Zone, Northwest Suez Canal. This is in the south entrance of the Suez Canal on the Red Sea. And this is the map. It's 110 kilometers from Cairo. This is the port, and we have a big industrial zones in the back. And in Egypt, if you are looking for investment in Egypt, you can go through Gafi, and you can check this website through this link, gafinet.org, to check all the laws and all the projects in the Egyptian market for available for investment, and they can help you. And For any other clarification, just contact the Egyptian Commercial Office in Seoul through our emails, through our contacts. Just have a meeting, we meet, and we discuss everything. We have lots of opportunities, in, especially for the construction companies in Korea, in the field of constructing power plants these days, because the Egyptian government are looking to construct lots of new power plants these days, and lots of Korean companies are joining those standards, and they are looking to have the benefit to work in Egypt. Thanks a lot.